Welcome to my workshop. In today's video I want to show you a very compact and user-friendly laser engraving and cutting machine. If you're looking for a very compact, user-friendly, easy-to-use machine with very high quality of engraving different types of materials and actually having a very high capabilities when it comes to cutting even thicker materials, and on top of it being able to engrave brushed steel, copper and stainless steel, then this brand new model from Ortur, the R2, could be the right pick for you. But hey, let's trace a few steps back so you can actually see how this machine is put together, what assembly, if any, is required, and what settings did I use to get all of this done. As you can see, everything is really neatly packaged here, so give me a second, I'll take everything out and we'll start putting this bad boy together. Okay, check that out. That's the Ortur R2 machine. As you can see, very compact. You do have a full enclosed body and a see-through glass that will protect your eyes from the laser. And from the front, you do actually have a touch screen. Now, as you lift this up, that's the work size area, and you actually do get two laser modules. Okay, this is a normal diode 20-watt module, but also you do get a 1.3 watt infrared module as well, and everything else as you would expect. You actually do get an air pump as well in this set, which is super important. That makes sure that the blue dot laser is air supported, and that will give you far better results, for example when cutting. Right, let's put everything together and see how this works. Right then, so let's install the module first. You do get this pin that will hold it in place. So simply just slide it over the bracket and lock it in place. On the module itself, you do have this cable CN5, and basically that needs to be connected right over here. You do have a sensor there, and yeah, just plug that in and that's it. If you want, you can actually remove this bottom plate. You do have 4 screws holding it down, so there's no issues of removing that off if you want to engrave a bigger project. Now, the machine does come with positive stops, okay, as you would expect. And as you can see, it does have 2 settings. One is for 20-watt module, and that's exactly what I have here. And the other setting is for 10-watt module and the infrared 1.2. So make sure it's set up to the correct one, the one you have. Okay, later on we'll be changing that. It's super easy. Just have a screw and just move it like so to the designated position. And the maximum engraving size is 300 millimeters by 190 millimeters. In each corner of the machine you do get some sensors, okay, they're all over the place. Plus there is one more just behind the laser module. As you can see at the back, we do have a fan to extract all the fumes from the work area. On the lid itself, you do get a camera to make sure you know what is happening inside of your machine, and it will allow you to pinpoint the location of your project, and you can use that in Lightburn. And now we're going to go through the calibration of this in a few minutes. Now, instead of a honeycomb base, what you do get in the set, you do get 4 of these metal triangles. Okay, so if you want to cut something out, you place them inside, just like so, and you need to place the material on top of it, okay? And that will obviously help greatly in the cut quality and removing the fumes as well. So, you know, you don't need a dedicated honeycomb base. This will do as that. Another feature you get on this machine is the screen itself, but check this out. You can actually, you know, tilt it to any position you want, so it's so much easier to actually read it and use it. Fantastic little addition there. Now let me just tell you the dimensions of this machine. We do have about 40 centimeters deep. Wide, we got about 47 centimeters. And when it comes to the height, with the emergency stop button, we've got about 24 centimeters. So as you can see, it's a fairly compact machine, and if you don't have space in your workshop, well, this is actually quite perfect. In this set, you do get this hose. You know, you can put it through the window to allow the fumes to be removed from the work area. However, I'm not actually going to be using this, as I do have an inline extractor. So yeah, but you do get this in the set. At the top back of the machine, you do have the emergency stop button. For the first time, always check it if it's engaged or not, otherwise the machine will not work. You've got the on-off switch, plus you got the keys as well to make sure, you know, the machine is not used if you don't want it to be used. Next to that, you've got a port for accessories, the YRR, reset button, boot button. Next to that, we've got a DC port, so we can connect our power. After that, we've got two USB-C ports. One is to connect it to your PC or laptop, and the one underneath is for the camera. Okay, so both of them need to go to your laptop or PC. Then we do have the micro SD card slot. Okay, you do get the card in the set, and you have to install that in before plugging it to your PC or laptop. And just underneath that, you've got the clear button for the camera. And as I mentioned, this machine offers air assist, so you do get a hose in the whole set. So yeah, install that in. On the air pump itself, we just need to install this little device here. And that's it. What you also get for the air pump is this sort of a bracket, okay? What it will do, thanks to that, you will be able to change the airflow from the air pump itself. So for example, if you want to reduce it, not have it 100%, then what you do, you just tighten it up, and yeah, it reduces the airflow from the pump itself. And there you have it. That's the whole setup with this machine. Yes, of course, we do need to go into Lightburn if you are using Lightburn to actually set up the camera, but we'll do that in a second, so you'll see the whole process. But overall, that is it. You know, there's nothing else that you need to do with this machine. So if you want nice, quick and simple, well, there you go. That is pretty quick and simple to actually set up. So now I'm just going to grab my laptop. We're going to connect everything up and we'll do some testing. After that, after we fully test the machine with the 20-watt module, I'm going to swap the module and I'm going to show you the whole process how to do that to the infrared one, and we'll see what it can do as well. To turn on the machine, you need to press and hold the on switch for about 3 seconds. And as you can see inside, we do have a light as well, so it will help you to establish the position of your work. Okay, so that is definitely super handy to have the lights inside. And let me just quickly show you what you've got on the screen. So we've got Wi-Fi connectivity, that's the camera, so we need to set that up, and that's the home page. Okay, you can download the app for your phone as well, so you can control the machine via the Ortur app. Okay, firmware, that's the code for the firmware version. Then we've got some projects that's been stored on the SD card that is provided, so you can upload more projects and just, you know, work it off that, so you can work offline in a way. And a very interesting fact about this machine, it will actually save up to 10 projects that you recently done, so you can fully work offline. Very cool feature there. When you go to the options, you know, you've got the basics. You've got language, Wi-Fi, AP association. Okay, so you've got the details for if you wanted to connect it to your Wi-Fi. Next, you can reset the memory card, reset the machine, firmware, equipment self-test, you can do that, service as well. For example, let me just show you if we click on a project, first one up, okay, and on this screen, more or less, you've got the start option here, move and adjust, so you actually can turn on and off the lights in the machine, tilt detection, offset detection, so you've got some safety features there, and obviously you can move the module whichever way you want, or just home it like so. Okay, so you've got all the basic options here. So let's add our R2 to Lightburn. We're going to go to create manually, GRBL next. Yep, there we go. So we've got 300 millimeters, too many, by 190 millimeters. Okay, that's fine. Let's just change it over to R2. Okay, that's our work surface. One thing we need to do straight away, go into the settings here, and what we're gonna do is enable laser fire button, laser on when framing. So as we are framing our project, you know, you can actually see it, what is happening if you don't want to use the camera, for example. Okay, so we need to calibrate our lens to actually be able to use it. So that's the XCG. That's what you're looking for when it comes to the lens. As you can see, that's actually already inside the body of our machine. And that's the gantry that's blocking the view at the minute, actually. But yeah, let's head on with that. And in the set itself, you actually do get this board with dots. And now we need to place it inside as per instructions from Lightburn. So we're going to press capture. Now, unfortunately, for some strange reason, Lightburn is not recognizing the pattern that's supplied by Ortur. But not to worry, you can actually click on here and download the pattern itself from Lightburn. And I do have another pattern, so not to worry. I'm just going to remove the one that's supplied by Ortur and place a very simple pattern like this right in the middle of the work area, as Lightburn is suggesting. So let's, yeah, there you go. That's how it looks like. Capture. And there we go. No issues at all. So the one that's supplied by Ortur is probably a little bit too dark for the software to detect it. But if you've got white surface and black dots, as you can see, there's no issues with that. So let's carry on and calibrate this. And you just need to make the photos as the software suggested. So from middle, now we need to move it right to the bottom. And as you go through the motions, that's what you're going to get to. That's all, you are finished. Click finish to close the wizard and store your camera calibration. However, they do recommend to run camera alignment. So let's do that. And we need to place a material that's at least 200 by 200 millimeters. And we're going to go for 3 millimeters, as that's what I do have. And at the same time, I'm going to show you how to set up the focal point for this machine. And actually, it's super simple, okay? So what do? Unlock this, and as you can see, a leg bobs down. Lock it in place, and now lower the module until that point touches your material. And that will be your focal point setup. Simple as that, okay? No hassle at all. And as you can see, that's what we're going to be engraving in our test material. So let's start. And as per instruction, we need to double click in the center of each one. Okay, so number 1 should be just over here. Double click that. Number 2, there we go. 3, and then number 4. Okay, with that done, we can press next, and we are all done. I'm gonna update the overlay, and there you go. We can actually see exactly what is happening inside of our machine, and that's how you set the camera in Lightburn. Okay, so it's time to do some testing. Okay, I'm just gonna flip this upside down, and I'm gonna put these triangles as we're gonna be doing the engraving test, but then we're gonna be doing the cutting test as well. Make sure to set up your focal point, okay, each time for each thickness of material. Lock it in place. That is super simple. Lock it down, and let's give this a go. Right then, so these are my files for the engraving test. And as you can see, we're going to go from 2000 to 15,000 millimeters per minute, 40 right up to 100% power. So if you are looking for a laser that's fully enclosed, you definitely are thinking about the safety features. And I have to say, apart from the usual standard features, for example, the emergency stop button, the lock key, and the see-through glass that will protect your eyes from the harmful rays of the laser, you also do get in this machine 5 flame detection sensors that cover more or less the whole working area. Plus, it does have tilt detection, and also if you actually open the laser as it works, it will stop working and it will let you know that the lid is actually open. Okay, as you can see, the test has finished, but before we're actually going to take this out, I'm going to do the cutting test in the 3mm plywood straight away as well. Now, to be absolutely honest with you and transparent, I did forgot to turn on the air assist, okay? So the cut line there is not perfect. However, on the actual cutting, I did switch on the air pump and you'll see the difference, okay, in just a second. So first of all, let's have a look at the engraving, okay? Well, 2000 millimeters per minute is definitely too slow for this amount of power. Even at 40%, that went super deep, and with 100%, actually, it almost went through, okay? As you can see, the sweet spot will be at 15,000 millimeters per minute, and it just goes with this line, okay? So 60-80% for the 12,000 millimeters per minute. Now, that's actually very good results. At even 15,000 millimeters per minute, 40% power, we still do get a very nice and dark engraving. So you can go really fast with not much power to actually do your engraving, which is great. And now check out the difference. Not sure if you're going to be able to see it. Can you see that overburn, slightly overburn edge on here? And that's without the air assist, and with the air assist, check that out. Absolutely perfect white line, no overburn at all. So to be fair, we've done 3 tests: engraving, cutting, and the air assist as well. So if you are ever going to be choosing a machine, an engraving and cutting machine, always choose the one with air assist, okay, as it does give you far superior cutting lines with the air assist. But hey, as to be expected, 3mm ply, no issues at all. Even at 400 millimeters per minute at 80% power, it managed to cut through that. So I've got a 6mm thick ply, and we're going to do the cutting test on that. Well, the results are fantastic. 6mm ply, 300 millimeters per minute, 80% power. And now, I tell you what, look at that. That's incredible. 400 millimeters per minute, 100% power, 90% power. And check that out. It's almost went through on the last one as well at 80% power. Now, that is some serious going. 20-watt laser module. Well, we can establish that the cutting capacity is also very high. How about engraving quality? Right, and so I've got a lovely photo of myself, as you can see. We're also going to cut the parameter with 300 millimeters per minute, 90% power. And the photo itself, tell you what, I'm not too sure what settings to use. I think we're going to try, obviously we're going to turn off the air assist here, but we're going to go with 8,000 millimeters per minute, 90% power. And when you're actually going to double click the image layer, what we're going to do, 300 dpi, that sounds fine. Yeah, Jarvis, I'm going to use that, and we'll see what happens. But tell you what, I've got a feeling that actually that 8,000 could be a little bit too slow. So let's go with 10,000 millimeters per minute. And yeah, fingers crossed, it's the right settings for it. The quality of the engraving is absolutely superb, as you can see yourself. Look at the details around the eyes, you know, the glasses, the shirt itself. And, you know, we didn't actually tweak that many settings, just the basic settings. And you can achieve fantastic engraving like this. Now I've got a couple of materials I want to test out. I've got slate coaster. I've got a coaster where one side is leather, the other side is cork, so we're going to check that out. I've got a metal name tag coated in this beautiful red color, and a business card aluminium coated in this beautiful blue color. So let's give them a go. And first of all, we're going to do the slate coaster, 2000 millimeters per minute, 100% power. That looks pretty cool. Let's clean this out a little bit and check that out. Absolutely gorgeous. And you've got a fantastic engraving on piece of slate. Next, let's check out cork. The settings here will be 15,000 millimeters per minute, 30% power. And check out the results. That came out absolutely gorgeous as well. And tell you what, I'm going to use similar settings on the other side, okay, where the leather is. although I'm going to reduce the power to 25%. And yeah, definitely the right decision with lowering the power, as still 25% of power, and we get fantastic results like these. Absolutely amazing. On leather. Time to engrave our business card. And this time I'm going to use 35% power and 15,000 millimeters per minute. And check that out, beautiful engravement on a business card. And hey, if you do enjoy the video, make sure to subscribe. When it comes to engraving, let's have a look how it will do with a metal coated name tag like this. And the settings here will be the same, 15,000 millimeters per minute and 35% power. And again, beautiful engravement with no issues at all. There's one more thing I want to try out, is to cut 3mm acrylic sheet. Okay, as you can see, I've already been doing tests with other machines, so now it's time for the Ortur R2. This time, for cutting the 3mm black acrylic, I've changed the settings to 100% power and 100 millimeters per minute. One feature that's definitely worth mentioning is the fact that R2 has got a Y-axis double linear bearings, which means greater precision, faster operation speed and greater stability. This machine can also work fully offline. It can be operated from the screen, plus it will automatically record up to 10 last files that you used on this machine without the need to actually connect it to a PC or laptop. However, this machine allows you to connect it to Wi-Fi and use it via an application. You can have it on your phone. And I think, as to be expected, no issues at all. The machine managed to cut the acrylic with no problems. We could probably actually go a lot faster than this, but yeah, a nice clean cut on the edges as well. As the final test, I want to engrave something that's going to look a little bit 3D. Okay, so it's the 2D relief image. Okay, as you can see, hopefully when it's going to be engraved, we're going to have that 3D effect on it. And yes, look at that, I've got casual there. Okay, and I've not designed this. This was all made by AI. Okay, I do have a video coming up shortly in the next few weeks about how to utilize AI to create your graphics. And the engraving settings for this is going to be 9,000 millimeters per minute, 100% power. Let's give it a go and see what results we can get. And check this out. I think that is looking absolutely awesome. The quality of engraving by this machine is absolutely superb. And check this out. That is super cool. And there you go. So far, absolutely fantastic performance from this very compact machine. Cutting, no issues at all. 6mm plywood at 400 millimeters per minute at 90% power. That is very good. Engraving quality, absolutely superb. No issues at all on multiple materials. And to be absolutely honest with you, to start with, I wasn't quite sure about these metal triangle bars that will lift the material off the bed itself. But to be fair, as I'm using it to cut things out, actually, I think it's better than the honeycomb bases. And the reason for that is just so much easier to take those smaller objects that sometimes go inside of the honeycomb. Well, there's no issues like that. You can quite easily pick everything up from the base. So yeah, I think they are onto something here, and probably this is far more cheaper than a full-size honeycomb base. So yeah, very cool. But hey, now it's time to actually test out the infrared laser. I think it's 1.2 or 1.3 watts, something like that. Straight away, I'm just going to show you how to actually establish the focal length for this module. Basically, you do have a retractable foot right at the front, so it's super easy to sort that out in no issues at all. But hey, let me just show you the quick process you need to follow to actually change the modules over. Before you do anything, make sure the machine is disconnected from power. First of all, we do have this sensor wire here, so we need to move that out. Next, what we need to do, we actually need to cut the cable ties. Just make sure not to damage the wires themselves. And what you've got here, you've got the air assist hose, okay, and you don't need air assist for the infrared module. And obviously you do have all the connections here. So let's take them out. And as you can see, that's that simple. We can remove the module. And now simply we can install back the infrared module. And we can connect back the wires. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Obviously use some cable ties to attach the wire so it's not in the way. And the last thing we need to do is to change this little setting over here from 20 watt to 10 watt. Okay, that's the positive stop for the laser head. Right, I've got a few materials here. I've got stainless steel, I've got brushed steel, I've got copper, and I've got brass as well. So we'll see what this module can actually engrave. Now, I'm not 100% certain when it comes to the settings for this module. So first of all, we're going to try 2000 millimeters per minute and 100% power to see what type of results we can actually achieve. And check that out. What a performance. That looks absolutely brilliant. Tell you what, now I'm curious how the brushed steel will come out. But this time, let's go a little bit faster to see what different type of effect we can get. So 3000 millimeters per minute, 100% power. Off we go. Okay, brushed steel with 3000 millimeters per minute looks like this. Again, very interesting design. Obviously a lot more subtle than the much darker version on the stainless steel. Brushed steel, totally different result. Quite cool actually, but I do wonder what type of results we will get with much slower movement. So let's try, let's say 500 millimeters per minute, and let's see what's going to be the difference. And now check the difference. So that's with 3000 millimeters per minute, okay, and that is with 500 millimeters per minute. And the shading is actually going into slightly deep purple, maybe. So yeah, depending on the power setting, you will get totally different results. And actually, this looks really incredible. Let's see what type of results we can expect from copper. I think I'm gonna go with 1500 millimeters per minute, and we'll see what results we'll get on this. And here are the results for copper. 1500 millimeters per minute. And yeah, very good results. Absolutely brilliant engraving. This time I want to try 1000 millimeters per minute with 100% power. Where it comes to brass, well, you need to look for a different solution, as there is basically no mark at all left by the laser. So brass is a no-go. And there you have it, guys. Really interesting option from Ortur with two laser modules. The normal diode 20 watt module that is definitely super capable of cutting and engraving absolutely fabulous quality, but also you get the infrared if you need to actually engrave some steel, for example, or anything like that. So definitely two-in-one option. Plus the whole enclosed body and the camera and everything else seems to be a very nice and valid option. Now, as I'm actually recording this video, I do have the pre-release machine, so I'm not sure about the pricing yet. So if you are interested in this machine, I'm gonna have some links down below in the description of this video, so go have a look and check it out. Definitely, if you're looking for something very compact, easy to use, with no assembly required, then yeah, this could be a very good option for you. Now, I hope all the tests brought you enough knowledge about the potential capabilities of this machine. However, if you do have any more questions, you know where the comment section is. Ask away. At this point, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to my Patreons for the ongoing support. And before you go, check out these Tool Cool playlists. Plenty of really good videos already there waiting for you. But for today, that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.